An Encounter by Lazarus Solomon. There's the usual chillness of the October night air as you sit on your couch, mouth wide agape, eyes lifelessly glued to the screen that has taken charge of your brain. There is a deep sense of boredom bellowing up from inside you as you surf the waves of the TV channels, each one offering a program even less inciting than the previous one. From some old sitcom no one ever remembers to some infomercials that sell some cheaply made product to a Spanish soap opera, then back to even more of those damned infomercials. You turn the television off as you lament your decision to stay up late, with a quick groan from the sudden movement of your joints as you stand up from your throne. With each stretch, a sound occurs. The sound sends you jumping out of your skin as a sudden sense of dread overcomes you. Whatever the cause of these reactions, you can't pinpoint, yet it still persists as you stand there. It stays deep inside your gut as your mind drifts away from you as you ponder it. What? Wait, what time is it? You inquire out loud as you turn your gaze up to the old clock that you placed high on the wall above you. The answer manifests itself as you laid your eyes on the clock's face. It was 12:06 a.m. Do you begin to ask yourself, why would someone be at your door at this hour? You hear this primal voice from deep inside you somewhere. It didn't yell, it howled. It repeated to you that this wasn't right and not to acknowledge it. The knocking suddenly returns, grabbing a hold of you and ripping you away from your state of contemplation. It carries on as you stand there, divorced from reality, each knock a perfect note in a written out melody. Why, there was even an interval between each of them. As you turned to face the door, you could feel the dread intensify within your gut. It weighs you down as you foolishly try to step forward. Yes? You call out, mustering the strength to step forwards again. You hear the voice calling again, pleading from deep inside your unused mind, once more to get you to stop. But with each subsequent step, the voice grows fainter, like something is slowly silencing it. Despite all of that, you feel the need to investigate. There was a curiosity that arose in you now, and it demanded some form of satisfaction. After a short series of steps forward, you arrive at the door. With deep breaths, you rest your hand on the knob of the door while managing to shake off that voice at the back of your mind. Then, with the slight turn of your wrist, you open up the wooden door, fully expecting to see someone on the other side of the door. But upon opening the door and peering out of the screen door, you see something that baffles you to your core. Standing on the doorstep are two small children. Both were draped in black hoodies that covered their face as they stared down at the ground, not giving a single glance up to you. They shiver as you stare at them. The older one on the left clutches the younger one from the cold. From what little of their face you can see is almost pure white and ghastly. The shock of this knocks you back as you stand there, staring at them. Ultimately, it was the older one of the two that would break the silence first. Please, help us. We're lost. Can we come in? He speaks to you in an unearthly, calm, and low voice, monotone. You're unable to respond at first. Just something about the way he spoke unsettles you deeply, for reasons that evade your detection. When you finally muster the strength, you respond with a simple and confused, "What?" Your response triggers the old one to start up again in a cold, almost robotic tone. "We got lost. Can we please come in and use your phone? It's so cold out here." The previous primal voice of fear and warning was now silenced completely, in its place taken by a sweet voice urging just the opposite. It was seductive. With each call, it pulled you gently towards the door, and you struggled to fight against it. You stare at them as a reasonable question takes your mind. "Why don't you just call them on your phone?" "We don't have a smartphone." The older boy answered your inquiry with remarkable speed. "Please, let us in." Like automatic responses, you just keep prodding them. You must sense it is all off to you. You must, as it seems all off to you. "Why?" The boy interrupts you with his unusual plea for entrance. This time he slides in another detail that takes you by surprise. You jump, crawling in your skin, as you realize he just said your name. "How? What? You stumble out in bewilderment, soon coming to regret this. Upon hearing your choice of words, the two children finally stare up at you. This causes you to wish they hadn't. They look up at you and allow you to glimpse at their eyes, ingreed by pure black. Their eyes were the deepest and darkest shade of black you had ever seen. "Let us in," the older boy commands as you stare back at them. Then you realize something that adds insult to injury. You glance down to see your hand on the latch of the screen door. You find yourself at a loss for words and completely unable to decide what your next move should be. Is it not possible that this is otherworldly? Can it just be natural? Maybe they have a condition of some kind that makes their eyes black. But then how could they have possibly known your name? You pull your hand back as you contemplate this. "Let us in!" The young boy speaks up in a deep, unnatural voice that knocks you out of your daze. "We can't come in unless you let us in," the older boy speaks to you. You're unable to speak. Sure, a hurricane of words is blowing in your mind, but none of them manage to get out of your mouth. As you stand there, the two take advantage of your disorientation. "Let us in!" The two let out a shriek with high voices in unison as they slam their fists against the glass door. Maybe it was out of stupidity, but finally a spine had formed in your back, but you had had enough. "Leave me alone!" you yell out at them. "You are not welcome here!" And then as soon as it all came, it all concluded. After a split second of silence, you open your eyes to look out at them, only to see they are gone. Without a moment's hesitation, you slam the door with a great force. What just happened? You ask yourself as you process it all. Why couldn't I speak earlier? What the hell are they? Then you are sucker punched by this all-consuming state of dizziness. The world spins around you as you rub your nose. Your legs give out and you collapse to the floor. The last sight you see is your hand drenched in blood. and the entire world slowly fades to black. The end.